Ah, yeah, the good old days of the 70s. Polyester slacks, bell bottom pants, silk shirts open down to your navel. We talk about that. And also, bologna sandwiches in this edition of Old Fools Talking Old School.
And that's paramount to all these girls out there with them long fingernails. You know what? I wouldn't want you fixing my bologna sandwich, God dog it. With them damn long. It looks horrible anyway, but them long nails now, you know how hard it is to keep your hands clean, man, because you constantly touching stuff.
Right,
Man.
right.
You got all them damn nails in there.
Yeah.
And hell,
let me take a culture up under there. See what's growing
yeah,
up. See what's growing
man.
when you touch my bologna sandwich.
You ain't lying. When the last time you went to the bathroom? I need you to do some sterilization. It's ridiculous, man.
Yeah,
There's no reason for all of that, man. You know, that right there tells me you don't have any confidence because you got to make yourself up to be something that you think somebody wants to see. You got to be half naked. You know those clothes are too tight where we can see your back fat and all of that. It's just ridiculous, man. I don't get it. And I ain't only talking about the women, the guys too. They get out here and act like they done lost their mind. But I'm not talking about something that I don't know nothing about because me and Robin was looking at some pictures from back in the 70s when we were wearing all that tight polyester shit with them heels on. She's like, our generation was pretty gay looking. I remember them polyester. You couldn't get me to put on a pair of polyester pants now.
Mm-mm.
And them shirts, you out there, got your buttons down to your belly wide open.
I remember them very well.
Boy, that big old afro on there. You told me I wasn't good looking, boy. We was gonna fight.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, let me take my polyester off first.
Yeah, that's the way things were, and it's funny how as the time evolved and the loose baggy style came up, it was hard for me to accept that look. I'm like, the pants are 2-3 times bigger than they should be. The legs are huge, and the suit coats were down to their kneecaps, and I'm like, that don't look good at all. We had our shit tight.
Yes, sir.
And I'm again, things change, and you look back on it and stuff, and it's like, damn. I said, I'm like, boy, the pants are so tight, you almost had to wear a jock strap to keep your stuff in tow. They were so tight, man. So but like I say, that's how fashion has evolved and things. But I was telling the girls that I said, y'all laugh about that kind of look and stuff like that. I said, but at the time, that was it. That was the look.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The women were wearing hip huggers and we was wearing nut huggers.
Yeah. I ain't never heard it put quite like that, but you're exactly right. That's the way it was. There wasn't no space anywhere.
No, buddy. No, sirree. So man, it's amazing. Each generation has their own little deal.
Yeah.
But now this stuff I just can't see pants falling all down, and then a woman wearing tight clothes don't bother me, but when you didn't got you didn't put that big body in a medium. You can see every wrinkle and roll. I saw this woman walking. She had on some Daisy Dukes. It was coming out. I was passing by Marshall's in this little shopping mall. And she come out of there, man. She had on, these shirts. Rosin told me what kind of shirt it was, but it covers your breast, but your stomach is out.
Mm-hmm.
Man, she had a gut so big. I'm like, now I know somebody should have told her before she walked out of there. And it didn't appear she was pregnant, but her stomach was. And I'm like, how can you think that is appealing? But maybe it is to somebody.
Yeah, I think the same thing too. I always go back to Mary's old adage: just because they make it, don't mean you need to wear it.
Yeah,
You know,
there
she
you go.
says that all. She says that all the time. Just because they make it, don't mean you need to wear it.
That's right.
And
And no matter how much you wish, you cannot get in that little outfit, that little one. What do they call it? What when the women say they zeros and ones and twos,
hmm
and you
hmm
know you are 16. That ain't for you. You
no,
know
no, no.
that ain't for you. But they ought to come out here and try to wear it like what these little young girls wear. I mean, the little small girls wear. And what they don't really understand is, no matter what size you are, a woman can dress the way she's supposed to and look excellent. She can be big as all get out, but if she wears the appropriate things, she can look sexy as hell.
hmm
And I
hmm
don't understand why they don't get it. And I was telling Rosin about when she was in the hospital. I went down to the little cantina to get me something to eat, and this sister, she was working there. She had a clipboard in there. She pleasant as all get out. She's a big girl, and I think she was a counselor for cancer patients because she had a bald head. She had all her hair off and
Right.
had her hair polished, looking good. Had a nice little dress on. And I think the most attractive thing was that demeanor that she had. Boy, she was
hmm
just the nicest person. She goes, "Oh, excuse me, were you here?" I said, "No, no, you go ahead." And she got in there. So when we were standing in line, we were just kind of chit chatting a little bit. And I was like, that woman was attractive as hell. I know she got a man at home. Anybody being that pleasant, and she was just appropriately dressed, man. And that's all you got to do. I think some people try too hard, man.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
Mhm.
I still remember a class I took when I was over in Bentwater, and I don't even know what the class was. I
Mhm.
remember the instructor was one of those guys. He worked for the University of Oklahoma, and they had those overseas military
Right.
classes, and he would go over and teach. He said he was overseas, quite a bit because that's where the schools that he would go teach at. And he did this one class, and one of our sort of lessons for that class was to dress as if you were going to an interview.
Mhm.
And he
Mhm.
said, I'm not going to try to embarrass anybody, anything, but we're going to look at how you're dressed and just give people pointers on
Right.
things that, maybe you shouldn't wear and things of that nature. And one of the most revealing classes I had ever seen because there were some wives and dependent wives and things that was in the
Mhm.
class, and they would come up, and he was so good about critiquing people, but you didn't take it like he was trying to make you look bad, kind of thing.
Right.
He was
Right.
really excellent at doing that. But he would point out things about this one girl, and I still remember how he said it. He didn't say it in a mean way, but he said, you're dressed as if you were, if you were going out to the disco tonight, you would be perfect, kind of thing,
Right.
but
Right.
that ain't what
Mhm.
you would wear to a job interview, kind of thing. And doing
Mhm.
that, and yeah, and I think that's the case sometimes. I don't know if people don't realize or don't know. I don't know which one it is, but yeah, there was a number of things that he pointed out with people that he said, yeah, you would wear this for this type of event, but you wouldn't wear this to an interview or things of that nature. And
Right.
you
Right.
know, really, it was more of telling people most of the time that you need to be a lot more conservative when you're going
Right.
into interviews and things of that nature, because that's sort of what most people are looking for. As she said, once you get in and get established, and if you start to maybe bring out a little bit more of your personality, that's fine. You're established now.
Right.
But to make that first impression, you don't want people all that they remember was, oh man, did you see how low cut that dress is, or did you
Mhm.
see how many rolls they had, under that
Mhm.
dress, or things of that nature. So yeah, I still remember that class till the day. That was back in the mid '80s when we was at Bennett Waters, because I
Oh
thought it
yeah.
was such a very appropriate class for people
Mhm.
that were going for the degrees and things, and was going to be getting into the job market.
That's right. And a lot of them have never been there, so they don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
just getting exposed to it. But I still say, I don't want anybody to think I'm just picking on the ladies, but I still say there's still a certain amount of sexuality that's put into being accepted. You know what I mean? It's like, God forbid I go in there and look Well, nobody wants to go in and look like an old maid, but you ain't got to, try to keep it on the borderline of, boy, she's got nice legs, that kind of thing. Go in there
Mm-hmm.
with and to me, a pantsuit is always that takes care of that. May not be appropriate in every situation, but a good business suit never hurt nobody as far as I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that way you're safe. And like you said, once you get in there, then you can go for those other things. But I always found that it's a matter of interpretation, because I know when I was doing going out for interviews, they would always say business casual. Well, to me, business casual is a pair of slacks and maybe uh, 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 what do you call them? The shirts, the pullover shirts with a collar,
Polo shirt.
polo shirt, yeah,
Right.
and a pair of shoes, you know. But I've been in places where business casual, and they come in with jeans.
Jeans on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, that's who's interpreting it. That so I always erred, if I did, on the side of a pair of slacks, a polo, and some shoes,
Mm-hmm.
because you can
Mm-hmm.
always, that interpretation of business casual, I can always go back, but that first impression, to you needed to go further, then you kind of lost that, and but to me, jeans is just like casual. That ain't no business casual, but
No, no, I feel the same way.
mhm,
I'll admit, back in our day, talking
mhm.
about it, there were what I call fashionable jeans back in that day.
Yeah,
You remember the
yeah,
jeans we used to have that had like the designs on the back pockets and
yeah,
things of that
yeah,
nature? That was
yeah.
very fashionable jeans. But I would not think about wearing those jeans even to a business interview or something that would say
No,
business casual.
no.
Even though we consider those dress jeans,
Hmm.
back
Hmm.
in the day. But yeah, it's funny how people sort of interpret that kind of thing. And I know when I was with the VA and stuff, when we would have our meetings and thing, we'd always say business casual, but my boss would always interpret sort of, and that means things like this, and it doesn't mean things like, we had one that he didn't specify exactly what he considered to be business casual, and a guy showed up in flip flops and a Hawaiian shirt, you know, and I'm just like you. I was there. I think I had packed a couple of polo shirts and like khakis and things like that,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
a couple of button down shirts with square bottoms that I could wear outside,
Yeah,
outside my pants and things
yeah,
like that. And I walk in and walk in. He walks in with this Hawaiian shirt on and these flip flops on.
yep.
And and I saw the look on my boss's face, but he was in a full suit. Now, of course,
Hmm.
he was a 15, and they said, well, our boss, or the big boss, said, if you're a 15, you wear a suit to meetings, and if you're a woman, you wear a dress or a nice pantsuit. She
Hmm.
sort of set down the rules for that. So he's up there with a suit on, full suit on, and this guy walks in with a Hawaiian shirt and flip flops.
Yep.
From that point on,
Hmm.
he made sure that when he said, the dress for the conferences is business casual, but that excludes, shorts, flip
Hmm.
flops, things of that nature. And the guy knew who exactly he was talking about. You could see that hue of red start to grow on his face. But I'm saying to myself, you know, why would you think that would be business
Right.
casual? We're saying business here. And
Yep.
I could say if you just said casual, period, well,
Yep.
that's a big word in front of that, business. But yeah, showed up with a Hawaiian shirt and flip flops.
I wouldn't be surprised, bro.
Yeah.
Would not be surprised. So yeah, it's always when you. That's what you get though when you leave it up to interpretation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to lay some ground rules down there. I know these folks up here, when I got out here, we was in the military. We had to be sharp anyway. Your uniform had to be nice, and shoes shine. I don't know how many times I got, are those new shoes? I'm like, no, there's an invention called polish. You know, I mean, you just
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the way it is sometimes. I know when I first started my first job at Andrews after I retired and stuff, I showed up with with button down shirt and a tie, and I know one of Marion's supervisors at the time, she said, well, Mickey, he ain't gonna keep wearing that. Let him be here for a while. He ain't gonna be being dressed like that every day. And a lot of them in there wasn't dressed like that. But like you said, that was what I chose to do. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
care what you choose to do. I mean, as long as it meets the standards. I said, but that's just how I felt, in the position that I was in, because I was in a supervisory position and had contractors working for me. That's how I chose to dress, and I didn't change that while I was there. And when I went to start working with the VA, that was the common dress. I mean, our boss came in a suit every day, and the rest of us had, either a button-down shirt and tie, or at least a button-down shirt and slacks and dress shoes and things. But I just, to me, I always think if you can, show that professional look, people tend to take you serious. Now, I know that there's people, after a while you realize, he dressed like he just walked, rolled out of bed and jumped in his clothes, all wrinkled and stuff. But he knows his stuff. So I'm gonna deal with that a little bit because I know he knows his stuff. But most of the time, like you say, if people take a look at you and if you dress nicely, they're going to take you seriously from the jump.
Yeah.
So that's what I chose to do. I chose
indeed.
to
it's the same
dress
here.
like that.
Even my office, man. I'm just like, what is wrong with these people? It's kind of like when we were talking about yesterday when you answer the door, somebody come in my office. Oh man, you got it nice and neat in here. I'm like, I don't have to have a junky office to pretend like I'm busy.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, I mean, you go in their office, papers everywhere. I don't even know how you can consider that organized. No wonder you can't find shit. Ain't nothing in here, but they equate with having my office messy means that I'm just so busy. But if you got a nice, orderly, and neat office, he must not have enough to do. I'm like, where do you get that from?
Yeah, because I've always been like that. I hate nothing worse than go into somebody's office and stuff is everywhere. Hey man, you got this thing? Let me look here and see. I think I put it over here. No, it ain't there. Let me look over. No, I hate that. I like to always been the kind that somebody comes in and said, you got this? Yeah, it's right here. Here you go. Yeah, I got my stuff filed. I got my stuff, separated and things of that nature.
That's it.
I'm the same way too. I've always been. I've always been that way.
Or them ones you go in the office, you need to talk to them. They got to move shit out the chair so you can sit down.
Just to sit down. Yeah.
I'm like, boy, this is a mess.
Yeah.
But it's funny how those are the people that'll look at you and say, "Oh man, you're nice and neat in here." Oh, and then of course they don't say it to you, but I heard through the grapevine, he said, "Oh, he must not have nothing to do." I'm like, no, because I got organizational skills. Now you want to, like, no, say it to me, damn it.
So what do you think about your boy R. Kelly, man? They gonna send your boy to prison, man. What's up with that?
I have no sympathy for him, but the one thing I do have sympathy for the culture is that what about the New England Patriots owner? What about all these other dudes that's been caught, other than the one that killed himself? Who was that big time producer and that was trying to mess with all them girls? They done stopped talking about him.
But yeah, I know.
All these white dudes get away, but the brothers serve time. Now they're trying to scam Watson up there. Now, that young boy ain't have to get them old. I bet you there was some old geezers that's trying to claim he was doing something, And that boy had the toast to Houston down there. He could have had a different woman every night if he wanted to. And I know I got people down there who think, a lot of people down there think that that old racist owner that they got, because when he said he wanted to go, set him up, because I saw that it come out in the paper that the Texans was paying for the hotel room in town for him to use for his massages.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yep. And it wasn't no issue as long as he was playing quarterback for them. Once he started saying, I want to leave, all of a sudden now they start coming forward. But again, like I say, what about Prince Andrew over there? with old boy that killed himself. He, he done got stripped of all his royalty stuff, but he ain't going to jail. Uh, Bill Clinton, he was on them flights.
Yeah. And everybody know Bill was a dog.
Yes, he was.
Even back in the early days when he was governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, man.
But I must admit I don't remember any accusation on Bill that he was messing around with young girls and stuff.
Young girls,
but
right,
he was
right.
definitely messing around. I mean,
yes, he was.
He had his security detail hooking him up, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And just like in Always, they said Hillary was getting her groove on too. She's supposed to been having a torrid affair with one of their people that worked for both of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was hitting that. He was hitting that alone, and Bill be out on them long trips. Shit, Hillary wasn't sitting up in the mansion by herself. I forget the dude's name. I saw that somewhere. But it came out not long ago when they were talking about supposedly she was going to leave Bill, and they were saying she had this long affair with this guy that was a part of their circle, and they were saying it like it was a well-known fact. It amazes me how well-known facts, depending on who the white person is, we don't ever know nothing about it until later on. But if it had been Bill Cosby, yeah, there's another one. He going to jail, been to jail. Every time the brothers do it, they go to jail. Elvis Presley was messing with them little young girls, married one. But they don't get to go to jail for behind that.
Yeah. Well, it's always a matter of a lot of times of who you know and stuff of that nature. And
oh yeah.
And once they get on, I mean, I think the thing that I think about with R. Kelly and stuff was the fact that he knew there was people after him.
Yeah.
And he just kept going, kept doing it. I mean, I think at some point you're like, okay, I see that they're coming after me. I'm gonna lay low a little bit and let the heat, go down a little bit, then going about my business. But it seemed like at one point, I think he felt he was untouchable.
Yes, sir.
And that's the very people they go after double hard.
Yeah, and not only that, it's just like this crook of an ex-president we had. He surrounded himself with yes people.
Mm-hmm.
Them people were just glad to, bring him to him and do all that. Even some people are talking about his ex-wife. She was on that reality show playing the victim and shit. You knew all that was going on. Well, you didn't say nothing either.
Yeah. Well, yeah. When you getting the
benefits,
the Bentleys, and you getting the Gucci, and you getting all that, yeah, you ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
When the heat got on, and you're like, well, I might get caught up in some of this, and all of a sudden you want to turn state's evidence. But yeah, when all the goodies was coming in, you ain't said nothing.
I ain't said a word. Yeah, he got caught up in there, and like you just said, he thought he was untouchable. There wasn't nobody gonna do nothing to him. And boy, that just as quick as you got that money, it was gone just like that.
Yeah,
and reputation and everything.
Yeah, that's. And I think that the interesting conversation that people were having during that time was there was people who said you have to separate the artist from the person.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I see a little bit of legitimacy in that, but I also see the part about, well, the artist made the person. I mean, he probably wouldn't have been in that position doing those things if he hadn't have been a music star and making money and out there to put himself in that kind of position. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I can sort of look at that both ways. That, there was people said, yeah, I sort of hate R. Kelly, but I still listen to and love R. Kelly's music. And I'm not going to stop playing his music. I'm not going to stop listening to music, because to me, that's a whole different thing. And I don't know. Sometimes I think it's hard to separate the two, but
I can separate the two myself. I mean, if, the bottom line, if the shit sound good, well, I listen to it. I ain't got to like him because I ain't never claimed that I knew him.
Right.
That's where a lot of people get caught up in it, because you think a certain way. No, he was a degenerate from the start before he got big, and then once he got big, it was just less and less seen. I ain't gonna sit up and say I listen to it all the time, but I can listen to Elvis Presley's music. I don't give a shit about him. I know he's a racist. He stole all the black music that he could steal and do all of that. I don't give a crap about him. I was like this little lady at my cleaners that I used to go to. When we all met up in Memphis, and I had on that Stax record shop shirt, and she was like, "Oh, you've been to Memphis?" Oh, yeah. She said, "Well, she named off everything we didn't go to." Little white lady. She said, "Oh, well, did you go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?" I said, "Nope." You didn't go to Elvis Mansion? Nope. I said, "I went to Stax Records." She looked at me puzzled. I'm like, "Yeah, I know you don't know what that is, but I mean, it's just one of those things, man. I say I can listen to Elvis records, but hell, we didn't have no choice back in the day.
Yeah, right.
And that's what was on there. But I'm with Ray Charles. Ray Charles, I ain't got nothing good to say about that dude. He said he was a racist. That's all I'm gonna say. I said, "Yep." So I was never really a big R. Kelly fan anyway. I mean, he had a couple of songs that, I listened to, but I don't even think I bought one of his CDs.
Yeah, I had a couple R. Kelly albums or I guess it was CDs. I had a couple.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I like some of his music and stuff. I got a few cuts on my iPod I play and stuff like that. But but yeah, I think his biggest issue was he got too big, at least in his mind, and thought that they couldn't touch him, and they did. And they touched him in a big way,
big time.
But I don't know. Like I say, it's just a difficult situation. I just think
it is
the issue about the young girls and those things. Just like any pedophile or anything like that. You just wonder why. You could probably have gotten any grown woman you wanted. But you got to realize that there's people that's what they want.
Hey,
like anything else.
He could sing, but he was a flawed individual.
Yeah.
And I have no problem reconciling the two. It's just like I'm a big Kevin Durant fan. He didn't turn out to be the biggest bitch I've ever seen in my life. Whining all the time, man. You made your bed, now stay in it.
Yeah.
How do you justify signing a max contract last year for 5 years, and now the first year is done, you want out? Come on now. Give me a break. There's a whole lot of people got more problems than you got. Especially when you beg, borrow, and steal to get there with Kyrie.
Yeah.
And everything out on social media. Man, sometimes you just need to sit back and chill. People are talking about you. They're going to talk about you anyway, but leave it alone, man. These are flawed individuals in my opinion. They're talented, but they're not strong enough to visualize what position that they're in and just go. Leave it. Let people talk, because they're going to talk whether you're doing good or doing bad. And I'm like, I just can't get it. Why? Then again, I'm an old man now, so I'd be like, as long as I call the bank and say, "Read that to me," I don't give a damn what they say.
Yeah,
read that balance to me.
That's right. That's right. That's for sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't even care, man.
We went through the generations on this version. We talked about the 70s and we got all the way down to modern day NBA superstars. We hope you enjoyed it. Hey, y'all, this is Mickey G.
And I'm Rodney T.
Thanks for joining us for this session of Old Fools Talking Old School. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.